Welcome to the Study Abroad for Anthropology's major meeting. My name is Megan Pankratz, and I'm one of the regional advisors in the UCSB EAP office, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm joined today by the Anthropology Undergraduate Program Coordinator. Would you like to say a quick hello?
Hi there, welcome everyone. I recognize some of the names.
Excellent, and we'll hear from Chris later on in the presentation. So the focus of today's meeting is to relay specific advice for studying abroad as an anthropology major. We plan to cover why you should study abroad as an anthropology major, where you might consider going given your major, what courses and program types you might want to think about, and how you can figure this all out and where to find the resources to help you. And we'll hear directly from the anthropology department later on. So starting off with the why, there are lots of benefits to studying abroad in general and definitely as an anthropology major. By taking major classes abroad, you can help ensure that you will graduate on time, all the while having an adventure of a lifetime. So maybe some of you will be a little more adventurous when you're abroad than Valerie and try things like live octopus or other international culinary delicacies abroad. We assume you chose your major because you're interested in it. So why not pursue this interest in another setting that will offer you a new perspective? You may even find courses that aren't offered here at UCSB that can still count towards your major. Angela studied abroad in the Netherlands and was able to take a medical anthropology class and an anthropology of art and material culture class, unique to any courses that she had taken at UCSB. In addition to coursework through UCEAP, you can pursue an internship or research project related to your major abroad. You'll be able to expand your network and build connections and gain professional experience or as far as research goes, that can look great on a graduate school applications. Our study abroad returnees come back transformed with more self-confidence, open-mindedness, a stronger sense of independence, and improved cross-cultural communication skills. So Valerie shared, spending time in a foreign environment really helped my self-confidence and my willingness to try new things. Through this process, I felt more and more comfortable with my self-identity, as well as my ability to communicate with people through a language barrier. Lastly, you'll simply make yourself more marketable by studying abroad. You'll help distinguish yourself from your peers when you look for that very first job or apply to graduate schools in the future. So now let's talk about where you might want to go. You have a lot of choices. So UCEAP, or the University of California Education Abroad program, offers over 150 programs in 40 plus countries across 6 continents. So there really is a program out there for everyone. To search for program possibilities in anthropology, you should go to the UCEAP website, which is pictured here on this slide. This is where you'll find all of the UCEAP programs and their details. To sort through your options, we recommend using the Find a Program search tool that's circled on this slide. Without narrowing your search, you'll find over 150 programs, but by identifying first the discipline area and then the subject area, the list of possible programs will be narrowed down. So you can see here by choosing social behavioral sciences and then anthropology and archaeology, there are 74 UCAP programs offering coursework in those subjects. You will notice too that the programs aren't all in the UK or where English is the national language. The majority of UCAP programs offer coursework in English, including countries where English is not an official language. So we encourage you to be open-minded and really think outside the box and go outside of your comfort zone. You can further narrow down your search by selecting the criteria such as language of instruction, your desired term, experience type, GPA, and more. So we encourage you to play around with this search tool and explore your possibilities. So I mentioned internships and research are possible on UCAP programs in addition to taking courses for your major. And we highly recommend that you consider taking part in these opportunities. You can gain that professional experience, and it really allows you to get to know your host community on a deeper level by interning. And as I mentioned earlier, research experience looks great on graduate school applications. And we have study abroad programs that integrate internships and research for academic credit, or most of our immersion programs will allow you to arrange your own. If you are interested in studying abroad in East or Southeast Asia and pursuing an internship for academic credit, I highly encourage you to apply to the UCSB EAP Freeman Internship Scholarship. You can earn up to $6,000 depending on where you study abroad. Many students take advantage of the opportunity to intern in our immersion programs in Chile, Ghana, and Thailand, as well as the Middle East Studies program in Jordan, just to name a few and pictured here on the slide. If you have 6 quarters of Spanish completed by departure, you could consider the Field Research in Mexico program with a built-in research project. And I looked at the current field research mentor profiles, and most are anthropologists themselves. So now let's take a look at the additional resources we have for you. So now I'm taking you to the UCSB EAP website, which is different from the UCEAP website, which had all the program specific details. So this website is where you'll find all of the campus specific information. And by going to the academics tab at the top and then clicking by major, that will take you to the advising pages for all of our majors on campus. And then if you scroll down, you can click on Anthropology to get to your specific major advising page. And this is where you will find specific advice from your department on kind of the what, when, where, how, and why of studying abroad as an anthropology major. In addition to the major advising page, another excellent source of information is our Gaucho Credit Abroad database. This can also be found on our UCSB EAP website under academics. And this database shows the type of credit UCSB students have received for their UCEAP courses they've taken. So when looking on the Gaucho Credit Abroad database for courses taken for anthropology major credit, you'll find over 200 course results. And this can be really helpful if you're wondering what programs might offer courses in your major or what specific classes might count towards your major. Just keep in mind, this is a historic database of what has been done. It doesn't necessarily tell you what will be offered exactly when you might be going. It also doesn't mean that these courses are pre-approved by your department for major credit. It's just that they have been petitioned for major credit in the past. So Gaucho Credit Abroad will tell you what UCSB students have taken and what type of credit they received at UCSB for those courses. A more general resource is the UCEAP course catalog, and this contains courses taken by all UC students on UCEAP, not just UCSB students, and provides a little bit of different information. So when looking at the UCEAP course catalog for anthropology courses, you'll find over 370 courses listed. And you can get short course descriptions of each through the hyperlinks under the title. You can also find the language of instruction, whether the course was upper or lower division, and more. If you search for archaeology courses, there are over 60 courses available in the UCEAP course catalog. But just like Gaucho Credit Abroad, this database simply reflects what has been done, not what you can do. So new UCEAP programs are being added every year, and there won't be any historic data for those yet. So I'd like to share where you can where you can go to get the most accurate information about the courses that you might take. And for that, you'll want to go to the UCEAP website and go to the program page for the program that interests you. On the academics tab, you'll find the most accurate course information, including the number of courses and credits you'll be expected to take. If it's a host university program, such as the one pictured on the slide for the National University of Singapore, there will be links to the actual host university's websites and course catalogs or searches where you can look up the current course offerings to really give you a good idea of what will be offered when you go in the future. And up until now, we've covered a lot about resources, how you can search for UCEAP programs that offer courses in anthropology, where you can find information about the anthropology courses students have taken in the past. Now I'd like to talk briefly about how you can get major credit for your UCEAP courses. So first off, if you aren't already aware, you should know that all of your units that you take abroad through UCEAP will automatically transfer over and appear on your UCSB transcript. And all of the units will count towards your graduation requirements, unit requirements. And there's nothing you need to do to make this happen. But getting credit for your major requirements for a course that you take abroad isn't automatic. So first, you have to take the appropriate courses and then get approval from your major department. I do want to take a second to remind you that you don't need to take major coursework abroad, as long as you know you'll still stay on track academically. So you might be ahead in your major, or maybe choose to spend a summer taking non-major classes, and that's okay too. But if you do decide to fulfill major requirements abroad, typically they must be for upper division credit and taken for a letter grade. You should communicate with your major advisor before you go, and that will be part of the application process. There's an academic planning form that they'll have to sign for you. And then we encourage you to continue communicating with your advisor even after you are abroad. So the course that you thought you might take abroad might not be offered during the term that you go. You might change your mind, or there could be scheduling conflicts. So it's really important when picking a program to pick one that will work for you and that will allow for you to be adaptable. So if you, for example, go to a host university that has an anthropology department offering a variety of courses, it may not matter if you decide to take a different course from the one you had originally planned. There might be many courses that you can choose from. But you should always reach out to your academic advisor, especially when you have the syllabi available to you. That's usually what they'll need to see to let you know the likelihood of it fulfilling specific UCSB major requirements. And then finally, getting official approval for major credit for a course that you took abroad happens after you return and once your UCEAP grades appear in gold. So that's when you can petition your academic department for classes to count towards your major requirements. And for this process, we encourage you to keep all of your work from abroad. So that's syllabi, reading lists, graded assignments, papers, exams, all of that supplemental support for the petition process. And with all of that said, let's hear now directly from the Anthropology Undergraduate Program Coordinator, Chris.
Well, I would encourage you all to think seriously about this opportunity. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful experience on many levels. And we have had a number of students who've been successful petitioning courses for credit. We have what's called related fields credit. So there are courses in other disciplines that have ties to anthropology that can be petitioned for major credit, up to 12 units. We allow up to 12 units for each of the 3 emphases. So that's something to consider. And if you're going to a program that has a specific anthropology department, it might be possible to actually petition coursework to go toward your Area 1 degree requirements on the degree sheet, which would be if you are a cultural anth major and you take a cultural anth course. Again, as Megan was saying, when you return from your study abroad experience, you can come to the office, fill out a petition, bring the syllabus, and what we'll do is review and evaluate the syllabus to see if it will be approved for either Area 1 or Area 2 credit, which would be upper div major credit.
All right, so we'll move on for now. And since our programs were canceled in 2020-21, we have very, very few returnees here on campus. So I wasn't able to invite an anthropology major who studied abroad live to today's meeting, but I would like to share a video that features an anthropology major who studied abroad in Japan. So I'll play that now.
My name is Danny Wester. I'm a fourth-year anthropology major here at UCSB, and I studied at ICU, the International Christian University in Tokyo, Japan. Being a student in Tokyo was a really terrific experience, I think. At the International Christian University, you will have the UC Tokyo Study Center right there on campus to help you out with anything you need. So go to them. They're all really sweet, really helpful. I recommend going to them if you have any questions about Tokyo living. Classes at the International Christian University were a lot more intense than they were here, I would say. I took classes for my major, and I was able to get upper division credit for those classes. I did not have to take as many classes as I would have here to be considered a full-time student. Classes there are typically worth a lot more. The question on everybody's mind is probably about transportation, food, and housing. Again, go to the UC Study Center if you have any questions about that. My personal advice is to go out and eat. The food over there is terrific. You won't have any problem finding affordable food, great meals. Transportation by train is the most common form of transportation in Tokyo. And it's really hard to get lost in Tokyo. If you can't get there by train, you can get there by bus. If you can't get there by bus, you can get there by taxi. I mean, the public transportation in Tokyo is world class. It'll take you anywhere you need to go. My housing situation in ICU was very enjoyable. I was housed with about 80 or so other Japanese students. I had a roommate. He was also Japanese. We got along spectacularly. So living on campus in the dorms is one option, like I did. Great experience. There's also the option to live off campus in your own apartment. The difference in price between the two are not that much. You'll be paying roughly the same for either one. Living off campus, I guess, gives you a certain amount of freedom to have guests and whatnot, but if you want to really get immersed into ICU campus life, then I recommend staying in the dorms. The biggest culture shock I experienced when I was in Japan was probably experiencing the level of respect that they had for social hierarchies. You really have to, or you're kind of expected to gauge your relationship with each other a little more carefully and show due respect to those above you or those below you. After going to Japan and seeing the level of hospitality that they showed me, I really want to go back and try my hand to see if I can replicate that level of hospitality they've shown me. I hope to get over there and go into maybe work for a hotel or go into hospitality services and see if I can hold my own with the Japanese quality of hospitality. Going to Japan, you will have many opportunities for personal growth and social networking. The opportunities for these things are many, to say the least. And if nothing else, you have to go for the food. The food is just amazing. Don't miss out on that. Go to Japan.
So as the student says in the video, I think this doesn't apply just to Japan. Wherever you go study abroad, you will grow personally and you will expand your social network for sure. In Japan, we do have a UCEAP study center. In other locations across the world, we have either UCEAP study centers or liaison staff at all sites. So we have support for you when you are there. I know we covered a lot of information. I hope it wasn't too overwhelming, but the great thing is that we are here to help you in your study abroad journey. So our UCSB EAP office is open with staff and peer advisors ready to help you and answer any of your questions. You can visit our Contact Us page on the UCSB EAP website to meet with us in person, via Zoom, or over the phone. Oh, and one more thing too, if you want to hear, read, watch, or listen about more UCSB student stories, I encourage you to go to our student stories page on our website that you can find under our Explore tab. It links to our Instagram page, YouTube channel, and blog. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. For those of you, if you do not have a valid passport or yours is expiring soon, be sure to apply for one ASAP. You can even do so at the Rec Cen here on campus. Passport processing has been delayed due to the pandemic, and it can take up to 16 weeks to get one, so don't delay. There are even some summer or fall 2022 programs that may require you to have a valid passport by January or February. And lastly, some final words of wisdom. Start planning now. You're already here attending this meeting. That's a great place to start. By planning as early as possible, you'll have the most options available to you and really be able to pick that perfect program that best fits your needs. I encourage you to attend more of our informational meetings, events, and workshops happening throughout the quarter. We have country and region specific meetings coming up and more. So if you visit the events tab on our website, you'll see our full calendar. And now consult with your advisors. Come see UCSB EAP advisors in our office. Visit or email Chris for anthropology major specific advising. If you plan on fulfilling any GEs abroad, we encourage you to touch base with a college advisor, and just don't miss out. Students who graduate and don't study abroad, that tends to be their biggest regret. So don't let that be you. And this concludes the presentation.